if they get relief backing up, that's what they're going to do every time. This colt, we worked him on the ground before we saddled him. We just did put the saddle on. And this is probably the third saddling. And he typically had been pretty bronky with the saddle on. So the groundwork that we did in preparation for the saddle allowed us to get him saddled pretty nicely. And he took the saddle nicely. I need him to move forward here. And when he goes forward here, there. Now sometimes that's when one like him or any of them, when they finally free up and come forward, that's when a lot of times if they're going to buck, they'll do it right there. Now, he didn't buck, but he came through with his back up and a little tight against that saddle. A little overreactive. He's pulling on the outside boundary. So I'm not letting him stay on that outside boundary. I'm pulling enough to where he's got to come off of it like that, see, so that there is a release off of that boundary. But I also am adding forward motion here right behind the saddle, right there. There's got to be that drive forward. If there's not that drive forward, you're not going to get anything accomplished. But I can't let him go out there and go away from me and not have a consequence for that. So I'm sending him forward. Straight forward is the relief, right there. See, he took from there to there, a couple steps in complete freedom in willing forward motion. I'm going to change direction here, send him, and he's thinking he can back up and get away. He's up against the outside boundary, thinks he can back up and get away. Forward is his escape, not pulling on me. Don't stick your head up and pull on me. That time when he came forward, he threw his shoulder at me and dove in at me. He's up against the outside boundary, just pushing his head up there. See, in my opinion, there's no need to get on one when they're in this frame of mind, unless you want to see how well you can ride. Because if he's trying to avoid me this much, when all I'm asking him to do is to go forward, and he's avoiding me this much on the ground, I don't have enough tools on him. In other words, I don't have enough understanding to get him to go left or right, or to stop, or anything. So I would basically be putting myself in a position to where, right there, in that state of avoidance right there, he'd just take advantage of me. So I'm going to send him around here, make him wear this flag. I'm going to ignore his attitude and just put him to work. Move that hip around there and make him step up there. I want him to find that he can back up and find relief. I want him to find relief going forward every time. And I'm going to just keep moving body parts here. Whenever I feel him get tight, just took that and just tried to run over me right there. So whenever I feel him get tight, or I feel him become real defensive, I'll put more pressure on him. Change him back the other way. Get over there. Not go very far around before I change direction. Move that hip. Move that hip right here. Forward here, forward. He wants to just stick his head up and back away, and that's not unusual. That's a pretty common escape route for a horse. When they're unsure, they just stick their head up and back up, and if they get relief backing up, that's what they're going to do every time. Now I've held him to a little bit of higher energy. Now when I ask him to come forward, he's got a better attitude. He's still drifting away from me, but what I like was he's looking where he's going. He's got a real nice posture, and he's traveling forward freely. He's relaxing a little bit, getting his head down, so he needs some time here. Doing more than I'm asking him there. Every time he gets over by them colts, he wants to go over to them. He's gonna try that backing up again. Just get stopped there. Now let's go forward. If I change direction every time I stop, pretty soon that's all they're thinking about doing is changing direction, and they quit listening. Then they start getting ahead of me. That time he did it real nicely, so I'll get him to look in that direction. As soon as he looks to the left, then I'll send him to the left. Then we're going to go around here to my right. There he is, backed up, trying to find escape. Tried to find a relief point by getting away from me and backing up. And I just raised that energy up behind him so that he could find out that going forward was the best deal. But he's pulling on my hand and he's going to the outside. There's that backup. So I want him to realize every time he does that, there's going to come an effort from behind and cause him to get it, quit pulling on my hand. A horse that will pull on your hands will sure buck you off. So every time he's pulling on my hand, I'm going to take it away. Get him to have a little more respect for that halter. A little more respect. This is disrespect that you're seeing in action here from a horse to a person by simply pulling on me. If he had respect, he would soften up, go forward where he knows where the relief is, and go forward with a good attitude. But see him crossing away, going away instead of just forward, that was better. And when I did come across to stop, he was just rolling on. So he said, I don't believe you. Now he's facing up, and I haven't told him to face up. So let's send him back to the right. But every time he feels a little bit of energy come up, he just basically runs off through his body to the left. See that shoulder sticking out there and that rib cage sticking out? And he just keeps flailing his hind end away from me. He's not thinking. He just got himself tight on the lead rope, and he's just throwing himself around. Now he's thinking. There's thought. Now when thought showed up, then I'm able to relax, let him step on through there. Come on, come on. You didn't get to go over there and look across the room and stop though. We can stop right here, let it be my idea. See, those creeping steps that he's taking right there is him just trying to get away from me. He hasn't yet come over to the full understanding that all he's got to do is listen to me for every step he takes to find freedom. Those were my idea. This is my idea. He's in complete freedom right now. Just get stopped. Very good. No, when he moved them back feet, that took away the good. Before he moved his back feet, every step he took, even when he stopped, was at my suggestion. And if you notice that when he did that, his attitude was the best it's been since I've started working him. So in that good attitude, I'm going to let him have some time here. Let him feel the peace that comes with that good attitude. This is the way he's going to be but I've got to arrange it to let him find that. I'll let him have that step because I'm going to turn back to my right, his left. Just create a wall here. He walked away from that wall. Now he's walking forward. From there to there was in my picture, but when he got over there, he looked left, took a hold of the lead rope, and then he thought he needed to stop himself, and because he was pulling on my hands, he moved his hip away. So it wasn't that he did anything terrible, but he just wasn't right there in that sweet spot of the soft field. That was all right. No, let's move that front end all the way around here this time. The reason I'm going to move it all the way around is because he was too eager to take that hip away. So I'm just getting him to think about moving his front feet away. Right there. Whoa. Them steps there that he took, those was him creeping away. When I brought his attention back to me, he moved his hip away. I need him to just stand there and look at me like that. That's all I wanted him to do. Now let him find the piece in there. Let him be okay right there. His head coming down. Don't move your back feet. If he moves those back feet, that means that his thoughts going through his body to his back feet, and he moved the face up, think about leaving out that way. So I'm going to come this way. See him thinking about going to his back that way. Now there's where I told him to go. Let's get stopped here. He went around there pulling on my hand. When I stepped across to stop him, he was still pulling on my hand, but he did stop. So I'm going to give that to him as an okay thing, even though it was far from perfect, what I'm looking for. It was some try. Let's go forward here. My forward motion button is right there where my leg would be. He's looking off to the left, pulling on my hand, so I bump on him there a little bit, got his nose back this way. He's in real good shape. Now the reason that he's able to stop, no, don't move his back feet. The reason that he was able to stop there is because he was shaped up and he could see me. It's just really as simple as that. It's a matter of him being in a position where his attention can be on me and not on trying to avoid what I'm asking because of the pressure that he's feeling from the equipment. Very good. Just get stopped. Nice. Let's go forward. Let's get stopped. Not listening. Let him sit there and listen a minute. Now he's thinking about going to the right this time, so we're going to go to his left, my right. Now let's get stopped. Very good.